Hey guys, it's Kelly here from Spiritual Awakening Signs. If you don't know me, I help people like you who are going through spiritual awakening to reduce your symptoms and make the whole process much easier. And we've got an interesting video today because it's a question that comes up quite often. It's how long should you meditate for? Should you meditate at all during spiritual awakening? Because that seems to be the common advice that we get. It's all about meditation. So we're going to go into that a little bit today to help you understand what it is that you need to do to move forward in your awakening and everything to do with meditation that you might need covered. So I can see a few people have joined us already. Please say hello and I'll give you a little shout out. And thanks for joining us. So what I want to cover in this video is, I know that it is a question that comes up often. Should you be meditating for spiritual awakening? You know, how long should you meditate when you are going through a spiritual awakening, or if you want to bring that process on? Well, the first thing that I can tell you about that is, what I'm actually finding is that spiritual awakening really is a process now. Now with the energies that have changed, now that the energies globally have raised, we're in a slightly different state. So meditation used to be used to get you to that higher state, and it took a long time. Yogis would meditate for hours, for days, weeks, sometimes even months in caves and in solitary conditions to reach that higher state of consciousness, to be able to connect to source, to connect to their higher selves, and to awaken all their psychic gifts and abilities. Well, the truth is that we don't need to do that now. The information that I'm getting from my guides is showing that we don't need to meditate to reach that state, because the energies of the planet are raising enough that we're kind of in that state already. You don't need to meditate to get it. So you might find this has been happening to you, that you are maybe out living your life and suddenly messages are coming through things that you hear, through songs on the radio, through images that you see, through a movie that you're watching, through billboards when you're outside, or through overhearing someone else's conversation. Where we used to sit and have to meditate and focus really hard to reach that higher state, to get that information, it's now coming to us naturally. It's a part of our normal life, and it's becoming more entwined with our daily living and who we are as a being, rather than having to sit down, focus and separate those two worlds. It's all one world, and that's the fantastic thing. It is changed. So to answer the question, actually, I have to tell you is that meditation is not necessary for spiritual awakening at all. And I can tell you that I have meditated in the past, sometimes for extremes, which we're going to go into in a little moment, but I don't meditate at all anymore. So what I would say to you is, meditation is not necessary for spiritual awakening. Things have changed, the global energies are different. It's easier to be in that state most of the time as you're living your daily life and getting insights and messages and guidance. You also don't need to spiritually develop to connect in that way or use those psychic abilities, because you already have them. You already had them in other lifetimes. Sometimes we've suppressed them, sometimes we've shut them down, and they're all being reactivated now. We're using them again. It's not about developing, it's just about remembering that we have those key abilities available to us. So please know that it's not necessary to do meditation. Now, I know that I'm covering that, but some people may still want to do that. Now, you might like meditation. I like meditation. It's lovely to sit and relax for a while. It's lovely to tune in and just be still for a little while. That can be a really comforting practice that you can do. But like I said, you don't need to do it for all your gifts and abilities, and you don't need to do it for your development. Your spiritual awakening will work just fine without any meditation whatsoever. But if you do choose to meditate, I would say choose to do it because it's something that you enjoy. Choose to do it because it's something that it brings peace to your soul, that's something that is a soothing experience. So if you choose to meditate, what I would say is, don't meditate for too long. So if you're going to meditate when you're going through spiritual awakening, I would recommend 20 minutes to 30 minutes total. You don't want to meditate too long, and I'm going to go into why. Now, I know this because I did it. It's been an experience that I went through. I thought that everything had to be about meditation and awakening. So when my awakening began, I really dedicated myself, and I was meditating sometimes 2 hours or more every single day. And it kind of tips a scale, and what I found was it makes your symptoms a lot worse, because it starts opening things psychically. It starts kind of taking the boundaries away, and it also can overstimulate your energies, and that takes you into anxiety, heightened emotions, mood swings that fluctuate all over the place, more emotional stuff coming up to be resolved, more stuff coming up in your daily life to be resolved, and it all just moves too fast. You want to slow that process down a little bit and just manage to keep a level on it so it's not too crazy. So I would say use meditation just to chill, really, rather than as a really studious practice to try and get to a certain level of development, because you've already got it. So 20-30 minutes would be my limit that I would advise if you're going through spiritual awakening, because your energies are really, really sensitive. And there's more information on that actually on our YouTube channel, Spiritual Awakening Signs. You'll find tons of videos all about that and what to do to stay level if your symptoms are getting out of control. But 20 to 30 minutes is what I would recommend. And I'm going to go into a little bit more about when meditation is actually needed and what kind of meditation you want to be using just in a little moment. But I'll do a few shout outs because a few people have joined us. So we've got Eli, we've got Jackson, we've got Jodie Ann, we've got Anne, hello there, we've got Julie, and we've got Nikki. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone, that's fantastic. Now, let's get into when meditation is actually needed in spiritual awakening. Well, there are certain areas where it can be useful depending on what it is. Now, of course, the first one that I mentioned is being able to relax, being able to unwind, being able to try to calm the chaos that's going on all around you. Even though it's a wonderful transformation, it's pretty stressful. So being able to find calm amongst that, meditation can be helpful for that. But the only time that you're really going to need meditation, truthfully, is when you are healing. So when you're going through healing, you'll know that the work that we do is a hybrid between energy healing and meditations, because that keeps you in that nice calm state. It takes you into a theta brainwave where you are really primed for rest, recuperation and proper psychic connection. It makes it much easier to connect spiritually. So we take you into that state with the meditation, and then we bring in energy healing. So my guidance would be, really, you only need to delve into meditation if it is accompanied by healing, and by that I mean energy healing. There's got to be some purpose through it that's actually helping you work through your stuff, and that's what you really want, and that's what we provide. You'll see we've got tons of free ones on our Facebook page, on our YouTube channel, Spiritual Awakening Signs. You can always take a look at those, and we've also got some at spiritualawakeningsigns.com/resources, and you can just have a little look through them and see what energy healing downloads it is that you need. And the difference with this type of meditation is that you're really just being calm and being receptive for the energy healing and all the different downloads and activations that we're doing to settle into the soul and settle into your energy system. Outside of that, it's not really necessary. So I'm letting you guys off the hook. It's kind of like I've been at school but not having to do the homework. That's kind of where we are with spiritual awakening now. You don't need to spend hours and hours in really extreme practices of meditation in order to spiritually awaken. It's already happening to you, okay? Now, if you want to delve a little bit deeper and you want to investigate some of these, like I said, we've got lots of free ones available that are kind of mini meditations that you can use, and they'll give you the healing and the activations and different downloads that you might need, and we've got them for pretty much everything. But you can also take a look at our school, where we have a library, an extensive library of these energy healing meditations and activations as well. So the difference is there that while you're in meditation, we're all link in our description, and you can check those out if it feels like a fit for you. So if anybody has any questions, please do let me know, and I'll take a little moment or two to answer those before we finish up. But yep, school's out, you don't need to meditate, you don't need to do the homework, it's all happening for you. The best thing you can do rather than meditate is activate. You want to start using energy healing to activate those abilities in you, because they're not gone. They don't need to be developed. You don't need to start from square one. You've had all these gifts and abilities in other lifetimes. It's just about remembering and reactivating them. So it's activation, not meditation. It's more important now. So I can see Anne is mentioning that she listens to hypnotic meditation every day for 21 days, twice a day these days, because I'm trying to change my eating habits. I notice my mind no longer panics. It feels so normal now. That's fantastic. Well, this is the thing. This is where it can be of benefit to you. Like I said, if you're trying to relax or if you're trying to calm the mind, it can be a really helpful practice. But don't feel as though just because you're a spiritual person and you're going through spiritual awakening that has to be the way that you unwind, because everybody's different and it's all spiritual. So for me, the way that I unwind is actually getting out in nature, having a nice long walk, being down by the water, maybe having a coffee and sitting there and having a chat for a while. That's the way that I unwind. And it still allows me to have the spiritual stuff in my life, but that's just the best way for me. For others, it might be kind of chilling out, watching a movie. It might be, putting incense on and just having some music in the background. There'll be different ways that you're able to take care of yourself throughout this awakening process. And meditation can certainly be beneficial, but don't feel like it has to be the way that you chill out just because you're going through spiritual awakening, because it doesn't. There's no homework and it's all okay. Let's see, Anne also says, your last 3 or 4 products worked really well for me. I'm delighted to hear that. We've had a couple of really intense ones the last few. I think it was light workers. We had a genetic energy healing meditation. We had a space clearing meditation. And what else have we had? We've had quite a few really cool things. So I'm really glad that they're helpful to you. That's fantastic. Excuse me. So if you guys are interested, like I said, you can take a look at the link below and see if any of those meditations are useful to you and where you're at in spiritual awakening right now. And of course, you can click below to be notified whenever we go live, and you can click to be notified, and you can also subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. I'm losing my words now. Probably need to meditate. You can sign up there and you'll get notified of everything we do. And Anne's just let me know it was the 5D. Thank you for reminding me, Anne. It was a 5D ascension shift that we did as well, helping everyone shift into 5D. So we've had some really cool products the last few months, and really moving things up, because things are changing energetically and it's time for us all to shift. So please get into a practice that's suitable for you and that works for you, and don't feel pressured to fit into a box just because everyone else does meditation, because like I said, I don't do any and I'm still doing all this spiritual work. So make a fit for you. So hope you guys have a good day. I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care and see you soon.